So welcome to everyone for the Saturday Bhagavad Gita program. So today we are discussing from very two important verses. Arjuna, in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, there are 6 verses which Arjuna is praying to Krishna and accepting the supremacy of Lord. Sometimes it's in this world our most important period of time just gets burnt out while accepting the reality that we are all servant, someone is a master. For example, if you join any company, Lakshmi, you are okay? Wearing mask? So, if you join a company, to accept someone is supreme than you, half the time goes in the company. How many of you have felt? Half the time goes in that someone is my boss, I need to hear. And by the time that happens, all the calamities already would have happened. Because we wouldn't want to accept someone who is a boss on us. Yeah. So here, very important thing, Arjuna is surrendering onto Krishna, and he is telling Pitasi Lokasya Characharasya, you are the father of the entire world. Father gives birth to another living being. Father doesn't produce both chara and achara. You get what I mean? For example, we have built this house. This house is built with materials which is given to us. We didn't produce the material. Did any one of us produce materials, the ingredients for this house? We use the ingredients, we treated those ingredients, we transformed those ingredients to a house. So here Arjuna is saying, Pitasi Lokasya, you are the father. How you are the father? Chara Acharasya. Because you have produced both living and non-living. We need to understand what is production means. Production doesn't mean you are bringing from what is already existing. It is not a transformation. Transformation we all do in this world. Complete producing from nothing. We are all doing from something to something. Not nothing to something, right? Anyone does nothing to something? Yeah? Anyone does nothing to something in this world? Absolutely not. So, Pitasi Lokasya Characharasya Twamasya Pujyasya Chakurur Gariyan. You are the worshipable Lord. Also, the spiritual master. Natot Samosti, no one is equal to you. Abhyadikaha Kutanyo. Why he is saying no one is equal to you? Then he is also saying Abhya Adikaha, no one is greater than you. Why? What was the need to do this? Once he says no one is equal to you, it is obvious that no one is greater than you. Why Arjuna is telling no one is greater than you? Yeah, he wants to negate all the possibilities that may come. In Vishnu Purana it comes, always remember Krishna. So if it says always remember Krishna, there is one instruction is complete. Then there is another instruction immediately. Never forget him. So both are same, right? But this is the Shastras. This is how scriptures ensures there is a closed loop, that there is no confusion that may come. Yeah. Lokatrayepi, no one is greater than you in the entire 3 worlds. Apratima prabhavaha, you are spread, you are immeasurable influence to the entire world. Yeah. Next he says, Tasmat pranamya pranidhaya kayam. Therefore, Tasmat, Pranamya, I am offering obeisances. How I am offering? Pranidhaya kayam, by laying down and by touching my entire body, as we heard last time also, the Dandavat Pranam. Yeah. Prasadayatvam, please, I am begging mercy from you. Why? Because you are Ishamidhyam, because you are the Supreme Lord. Why I'm actually paying complete obeisances unto you? Because Piteva Putrasya, just like a father tolerates the son, whatever the son does, in spite of becoming disturbed, he tolerates them. Sakeva Sakyuhu, just like a friend tolerates the misdealings of the another friend. Yeah? Because if the friendship is strong, Priya, Priyaryarhasi, just like husband tolerates the misgivings of the wife. When wife takes husband as granted and disrespects him, husband tolerates. Similarly, Arjuna is telling, please, I have done many, many mistakes in my dealings with you. I have done many, many, many mistakes in my dealings with you. Hence, Deva Shodham. Please forgive and tolerate all, the disrespectful dealings I have done to you. These two verses are very, very, very important. Our devotional service, especially if you want to take spiritual life, if you just come to the temple, bow down and have prasad and go home back, you don't have to worry about too much. But if you really would like to develop relationship with Lord, for example, if you go to any temples, normally what happens, you go see the deities and have respect towards them and immediately take some charanamrut and bow down and take some prasad and go home. That thought process of how the deities were dressed, what garlands they were wearing, what was the crown they had. You get what I mean? For example, we had gone to a Juhu temple when we got married, and we went and we took darshan. Radha Rasbihariji in Mumbai Juhu. How many of you have gone to Mumbai Juhu? Yeah, yeah. So Mumbai Juhu temple, very, very majestic temple, just next to the ocean. And we went and we took darshan. After taking darshan, and Divya observed that we have two deities. One deity is, the larger deities who get decorated, and also another one is the Archa Vigraha. Archa Vigraha is one which gets bathed every day, and the Charanamrita is given after bathing. The Archa Vigraha is also dressed, and the larger deities is also worshipped. And that day when we went, actually, the Archa Vigraha, the small deities were not there. So we immediately asked the head pujari that why is that Archa Vigraha is not there. He became so happy because everyone comes and take darshan and goes. And Divya asked why Prabhuji that Archa Vigraha is not there. So immediately he went up. He got a box of prasad to us. Box. And the big garland that is given to Radha, you remember? You don't, huh? So Radha Rasbihari, the big garland that is given, he actually dropped it from the top, the fifth floor. Prabhu, catch it. Yeah. So normally when we go to the temple, what happens normally? We just take the darshan, we just have a little bit, charanamrut, and we go, and that Lord doesn't sit in our head thinking about it. What dress he was wearing, what was different, what garlands he was wearing, who actually did the garland. This is so beautiful. This is something which can only come when we actually focus. Yeah? Focus. So very, very important thing we need to really realize that Normally coming to the temple is fine, taking darshan and going back. But our spiritual life starts when we start asking question. Who is he? What is my relationship with him? Very, very important. When we identify our relationship with the Lord, our temple coming becomes a completely a different dimension of thinking. Different dimension of thinking, because we have developed a relationship. We have developed a relationship. For example, now Arjuna is in the battlefield, and all of you know Arjuna was a lifelong friend of Krishna. How many of you know about it? Every one of you know about it, right? Arjuna is a lifelong friend of Krishna. Arjuna is submitting to Krishna, offering complete obeisances unto him. Pita hi lokasya characharasya. He accepts that you are the father of the entire world, including moving and non-moving, because you are the supreme creator. Now immediately question comes, if Arjuna was the lifelong friend of Krishna and the Krishna is the supreme decision maker, please, you need to understand this. If Krishna is the supreme decision maker and the supreme creator, is the cause of everything, if Arjuna is the lifelong friend of Krishna, why is that Arjuna has to fight in the battlefield? Things could have easily managed by Krishna by giving the kingdom to Arjuna in whatever the mystical way. You know how Krishna killed Jayadratha, right? How many of you know this pastime, Krishna killing Jayadratha? Where Arjuna had taken a vow that he is going to kill Jayadratha before the sunset. And the sunset happened. Means Krishna, by his own mystical power, illusioned Jayadratha to feel that the sunset. And the Jayadratha said, my is done, and now we have won the battle. But Krishna, through his mystic power, he made the sun to disappear. And when the Jayadratha left his entire bow and arrow, celebrating his victory, immediately Krishna said, now pick up your bow and arrow and shoot. If Krishna is a supreme creator and supreme manipulator, no one can manipulate the things in this world as Krishna. Why is that? Krishna made Pandavas to struggle like this. And even to get a kingdom, they had to suffer for 13, 14 years and fight in the battlefield. Why is that? Many people ask these questions, right? For example, I'm coming, Prabhu, I'm coming chanting every day. Why is that these difficulties are coming to me? They should not come. If I'm a devotee, Lord should take care of me. But understand this, that Kunti, the Pandava's mother, was with Krishna all the time. But the difficulties didn't disappear from her life. The Pandavas were with Krishna all the time. Difficulties never disappeared from the life of Pandavas. You are all with me? So, but execution of the Pandavas and execution of us is mild difference is there. We chant for 1 hour in a day and then that's it. Finished. And everything should happen according to my will. If things doesn't happening according to my will, I don't think Krishna consciousness works. This is the conclusion we come to. Prabhu, bhakti is good, but somehow or the other, I don't see practicality in it. Because I am doing that same thing again and again every day. The same problems I am facing. So this is where Krishna made Arjuna the example to ensure that they go through this entire war to show how much surrender they have, so that it becomes an example for all of us to follow. Very, very important to understand this. When Arjuna is surrendering to Krishna and submitting to him, in spite of his difficulties coming, in spite of all the difficulties he's going through, that means that he has accepted convincingly Krishna, wholeheartedly Krishna, as his well-wisher. That is devotion, bhakti. Devotion is not that it's a fair weather friends. You know fair weather friends? How many of you know fair weather friends? If everything is going nice, Hari bol, fantastic. Krishna consciousness, so beautiful. But if something starts not working according to our plan, then immediately one thing we start doing is giving up. My husband is not actually treating me well. Immediately the punishment is to whom? Krishna. I will not come to Vrindavan. My health is not going well. Immediately I will not come to Vrindavan. Things are not going in my professional life properly. First thing I punish whom? Vrindavan. I will stop coming. I've seen so many innumerable number of reasons why people stop coming to Vrindavan. If things work, also there are people who just leave because they would have come because it was a disturbance for them. When the disturbance, I got a job, tata bye bye. That's it. And very, very difficult. What does Arjuna teach all of us? See, here I am, Arjuna. I'm a friend of Krishna for century. We have been friends. Krishna is the supreme controller, supreme creator. Everything happens because of Krishna. I have been his friend, but yet I went through realistic life of mine. I had challenges in my studenthood where my student peers, students who are classmates, right? They troubled me, they tried to kill me, they tried to cheat me. And in the youthful life also, I had friends who cheated me. In my adulthood also, I went through difficulties. Yet, Krishna was my friend throughout my life. Then what are you complaining for? What are you complaining for? Very, very important for us to understand. For example, Srila Prabhupada had a desire to establish Krishna temples all over the world and distribute message of Bhagavad Gita. Do you know how many difficulties he went through? Absolutely unimaginable for a normal person to even tolerate it. Humiliations after humiliations. If he comes home from his professional life, the shopping list of desires is put across to him by his children, wife, everyone. If he goes to his professional life, things doesn't work out as he planned. He was a businessman, pharmaceutical business. He tried his best to take care of his family. But things didn't work out. He went and tried to establish Krishna temples all over the world. But didn't work out the way he thought so. But in spite of that, in spite of all those challenges, Srila Prabhupada went ahead. Krishna tested him. Krishna tested him till the point from which he could able to see the success. Till that time, he went on trying after trying after trying after trying after trying, but nothing was becoming successful. Why is that? Lord Krishna does it. If someone really would like to do something for Lord should create all mystical through his mystical power. Everything should be arranged in such a way that it becomes a smooth and steady thing. You understand what I mean? Why is that? Because we need to understand this world is a education center. You understand? Lord Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, Matra sparashastu kaunteya shitoshna sukadukkaha agama apayino anityah tvam titikshava bharata. What does he says? Matra sparashastu kaunteya shitoshna sukadukkaha. Archana, in this life, winter comes and as well as the summer. Happiness comes as well as distress. But you need to understand, for example, my friend is in Australia and he's going to come to India. It's a severe winter in Australia. Severe. But when he comes over here, if he sees a very Mysore weather, he immediately starts saying, "What a summer!" We start feeling like it's a cold. You understand what I mean? So, Shitoshna Sukha. Why Lord Krishna says Matras Parashastu? Because winter and summer is all sensual feeling, that's all. A person who is in Switzerland, he sees it's a desert in Mysore to come and experience this weather. But for us, it is like a beautiful, woody kind of a weather. Cold and everything. But for a person who is in Switzerland, absolutely he will not consider Mysore as, it's so this entire weather condition is all our sensual perception. So Krishna compares Shitoshna Sukha Dukkha, even the happiness and distress is all our sensual feeling only. That's what Krishna says. Agama apayino. It comes and goes. Why? Anitya. It is temporary. Then what I should do? Tam titikshava bharata. You have to tolerate them. Very, very important for us to understand in our spiritual life. If you are really diving down in spiritual life and practicing immediately, very, very important for us to understand that we should have toleration. We need to tolerate. As I said earlier, for a little disturbance in our family life, the first person who gets punished is Krishna. He is the first person. I'm not going to chant because you forgot my marriage anniversary. You didn't remember. Or I thought with your performance bonus you are going to get a jewelry for me, a diamond jewelry. You didn't do it. I'm going to stop chanting anymore. I'm not going to do it. For each and every small reasons, first thing I've been seeing consistently, the first thing happens is, who gets punished? Krishna. I really want to become serious in my studies. Stop chanting. I really want to become serious in my corporate life. Stop chanting. I really want to grow in my life and earn money. First thing I want to do is stop coming to Vrindavan because this is not going to help me. So, whatever our ambitions in life, disturbance in life, absolutely we don't have a toleration at all. You understand what I mean? Why? We don't have faith. The challenge is faith. For example, if the wife literally kills you with her words, you go to work, come back home. Is it not? Why? You have experienced that relationship. Okay यार, कुछ तो बोल गई वो, थोड़ा मेंटल थी, सब ठीक ठाक हो जाएगा. By Evening she should have been okay. So that relationship experience is there, but that relationship experience is not there with Krishna, because we are not at all focusing on developing that relationship. Very, very important for us to understand this. That how can I build a relationship? As soon as I really want to build relationship, one thing the devotee needs to learn is tolerate. Little differences happens. We should have strength to tolerate, not jump out like frogs. You know the frogs? Just jumps out. Little heat, little heat given. For example, we used to play this in our childhood when I was 4, 5, 6 years old. I used to see where the frogs are. What we used to do is we used to heat up this compound. Heat up its compound. Frog is there, but the area which is near to the frogs, where frogs are, immediately little bit heat it up, burn it. This is what we used to do. Immediately the frogs used to just jump out. So spiritual life is like that. Little bit uncomfortness comes. One thing we tell, Prabhu, this is not we expected. We didn't expect this to happen to us. We don't want to continue. Little bit. That is a test for our relationship. So Srila Prabhupada says that fertile land is that land where one is tolerant, one is grateful, one is submissive and humble. If one is having these four qualities, this is where Krishna consciousness, the bhakti, can grow. Otherwise, it is not at all possible. So here Arjuna is telling, you are the Lord of this entire world, from you the everything is coming. Abrahmastamba paryantam sarvam maya mayam jagat satyam satyam punar satyam Harir namaiva kevalam sa guru sa pita chapi sa mata bandhavopi saha shikshaye che sada sartum Harir namaiva kevalam. Very, very important for us to understand this. Abrahmastamba paryantam sarvam maya mayam jagat. From the Brahma Loka to the down planetary system, everything is a production of illusionary things. And what is reality? The scripture says, Abrahmastamba paryantam sarvam maya mayam jagat. Satyam, reality. Satyam, again the reality. Satyam, 3 times the scripture says. Satyam, Satyam, Punar Satyam. I'm telling you the truth. The truth, again the truth. What is that? Only chanting the names of Lord, developing relationship with Krishna is the only reality in this world. And again, the scripture says, Sa Guru Sa Pita Chapi Samata bandhavopi saha shikshaye che sada smartum harir namaiva kevalam. Lord Arjuna is addressing Krishna, you are the lokasya characharasya, you are the supreme Lord of the entire world, you are the spiritual master. And the scripture also says the same. Sa Guru, Sa Pita Chapi, Sa Mata Bandhavopi Sah. Shikshaye Chet Sada Smartum. One who actually teaches us that Krishna is the spiritual master. Sa Guru, Sa Pita, Krishna is the father. Sa Mata, Bandhavu Saha, Krishna is the mother and also the relative. Shikshaye Chet, one who actually gives this instruction that the chanting the names of Krishna is the ultimate goal of life. He is the real Guru in this world. This is the scripture says. And Arjuna is also telling the same, that I'm accepting you as the spiritual master. Half an hour, I don't know. It's becoming a nightmare for me. It takes an enormous amount of time to arrange. But just taking care of your domestic issues at Vrindavan just for 45 minutes, things. But irrespective of that, you all need to focus. Huh? Focusing is very, very important. It might happen, many things can happen in your, but tolerate. Yeah? What do you need to do? Tolerate it. So, what do we learn from this? Very, very important for us to understand. What do we learn? That Arjuna submitted to Krishna and understood that I have done many, many mistakes. Considering you as my friend, I have taken your relationship as granted in this world. Taking it as granted, I have done many, many, many disrespectful dealings with you. Just like father tolerates the son. Because children do lot of mistakes. You might complain about it, at the end of the day, you have to tolerate it. Somehow or the other, you keep on, telling them, please correct yourself. Please correct yourself. Please correct yourself. Because at the end of the day, father and the son are the parents and children relationship. Relationship means what? Tolerate. See, if someone doesn't have this, it's going to be unimaginably troublesome. If one doesn't have toleration, unimaginably troublesome. I have gone through my own practice of Krishna consciousness for last 27 years. It is not that Hare Krishna, whoever are there in the library, please come out. And if any children is giving trouble, you are most welcome to stay outside. No problems. Suddenly that stopped me. Yes, who does it? Is the child does it or the parent? So in my own Krishna consciousness, last 26, 27 years, you might think that I have a blessings in my life, that everything has gone well. There are hundreds and hundreds of things which has been impossible to tolerate. I'm not just telling out my soul, all before. Each step in my life, it has been to execute service, do services, and to serve the community. Troubles have come from all quadrants. All quadrants. But one thing we really need to understand in this life is there is no perfect recipe to do anything in this world. If you really want to be successful in your professional life also, there are 1,000 people who are going to trouble you. In spiritual life also, if you really want to practice, there will be hundreds of people who are going to trouble you. In your family itself, they will tell what is the need to go. Our sampradaya is this. Just stick on to our sampradaya. Don't change. It is not required. You don't need to actually start chanting the names of Krishna. For us, everything is same. Do you have a whiteboard? Whiteboard is where? Since, huh? So everything for us, everyone are saying. There are many faith system in this world. The first faith system is there. We consider the Supreme to be a light. You understand? The Brahma Jyoti. From light, everyone comes. Lord Shiva, Lord Krishna, Lord Brahma, all the devatas come from whom? Brahma Jyoti. They appear and their form is very temporary. Their form is temporary. They come to execute certain functions and then they return back. What happens to them? They return back and merge into the Brahma Jyoti. Are they existing today? No, they are not existing. What are all they? They are all symbolic. What are you? You are also symbolic. What are you doing now? Wearing shirt and light brown. What is this? This is the chocolate color, Proji. Why are you symbolic wearing t-shirt? Symbolic dressing nicely. You're all symbolic. This is one phase system. What is that one phase system? What is supreme? Brahma Jyoti from everyone comes and everyone goes back. There is absolutely nothing called a personality. Personality is the production of misery. If you think identity is the cause of all disturbance in this world. This is one faith system. The second faith system is that everything is coming from one Supreme Lord Krishna, where the Supreme Creator is the source of Brahma Jyoti. Supreme Creator, the source of Brahma Jyoti. And from him, the entire creation has taken place. And ultimately, our goal of life is to go back and serve that personality. In what form? In the spiritual identity of all of us. Very important for us to understand this. This is where the two phase system always having a conflicts with each other. Conflicts with each other. Very important for us to understand. When Arjuna is saying, Pitasi lokasya characharasya, you are a father. His father can be symbolic. Venkatesh Prabhu is existing here. If Karthik says, I can't see you. If Karthik says, I can't see you, where will you take him to? Is Venkatesh Prabhu reality? Huh? Is Venkatesh Prabhu reality? Is Karthik also reality? Yeah. So, both are real. They are sitting here. So, everything in this world, the first faith system says everything in this world is illusion. But the school of thought, where everything is coming from Krishna, the Supreme Creator, when a creator creates it, how can I create illusion? If a creator creates, creator is out of illusion. He is beyond illusion. Can he create something which is illusion? Are you all with me? It's confusing. What is illusion? Something which is not. This world is considered as illusion from the first school of thought, which everything goes back to Brahman. Everything is symbolic. Second school of thought says everything is reality because it has been created for a purpose. This world, though looks, which is not, it's been created for us to educate ourselves, that otherwise Arjuna wouldn't have fought. Again, coming back to the same thing. Fought in the battlefield in presence of Krishna. There was no need to do it. But again, it's an illusion, because everyone who fought for it, ultimately it was temporary. Everyone had to leave it. You're all with me? The kingdom for which everyone fought, they had to leave in few years' time and they go back. It was not a permanent thing for them. But there was an education in it. The battle was real, the kingdom was real. They fought in the battlefield because they were meant to educate themselves, to understand what was the purpose for which we are all struggling for. You are all with me? What was the purpose to struggle, fight in the battlefield? To develop relationship with Krishna. Otherwise, Arjuna wouldn't have understood who Krishna is. If Krishna had said, I am your driver of the chariot, everything is going to happen according to me. Here comes, Karna, today is going to die. You just lift your arrow. Today, Bhishma is going to die. You just be in front of me. Do nothing. Did Krishna say do nothing to Arjuna? Arjuna had to execute every skills, talents, everything. But there was a blessings of Krishna based upon our actions. Action is very, very important for all of us in this world. Hence, it is a reality. Why? Because actions are going to make us to experience what went wrong. You're all with me? Although the Arjuna used all his weapons to greatest precision, doing everything, he understood none of it is going to help me unless Krishna is there. This is all of us need to come to a conclusion. That is what meant this life is meant for, coming to that conclusion. Just like Arjuna could come to the conclusion going through all these hard struggles, if we do not come to that conclusion, what Arjuna is going through, then I don't think we are going to have any meaning in our own human life. To that extent, this world is reality. You understand what I mean? Pradeep Prabhuji, ज़्यादा हो गया प्रभुजी. ये stock market की, I can understand the stock market, but I cannot understand. He is looking at me and then looking somewhere, and सब boomerang हो रहा है प्रभुजी. You are understanding, Prabhu? Very, very important for us to understand this philosophy. Otherwise, very difficult to accept spiritual life. You will be just a spectator coming to the temple and going back. Do you want to be a spectator or a devotee? Please tell me. How many of you want to be a devotee? Then you need to lift Bhagavad Gita. Doesn't happen. We don't have a ring bell also. Why? I don't think that is necessary. Because Bhagavad Gita discussion happens in this place. Why? It is important. Knowledge itself becomes a ringing bell. You don't need to have any ringing bell more auspicious than reciting Bhagavad Gita, which doesn't happen in most of the temples. You understand? You're all with me? Hence, it is our important duty to understand. There are 4 quadrants of life. How many understand quadrants of life? I wanted to write in the board. Yeah. Why you are in a, like a, that, something has fallen on you, that, did anyone ditched you? No? Everything is fine, right? Because no, Guruji, she went one day out. So I'm just asking, everything is went fine. Yeah, she went to Shreya's place because today is Shreya's birthday. So she went yesterday and she slept in Shreya's house. And her eyes are also going everywhere. I'm just thinking, what happened in last 18 hours that she has become very little confused. So there are 4 quadrants in our life. I could have written Not circle. The four quadrants. Yeah. Divide four parts. The first quadrant is our physical necessity. You are all understanding? Our physical necessity. The next quadrant of life is our intellectual necessity. Huh? Third and bada. The one quadrant. Oh, you want to come and write it, Shipri? It's okay. One quadrant of life is our physical necessity. The next quadrant of our life is our intellectual necessity. The third quadrant of life is our emotional necessity. The fourth quadrant of our life is spiritual necessity. We need to really understand these four quadrants. Unless and until you work on it and fulfill those, none of us will be happier in this world. Why? What does that 25% of our life teach us? To take care of our physical body, properly have our food, shelter, work, and sleep, all taking care of our body, our physical necessity of life. That is our 25%. Next comes our intellectual ability. For example, if you have unlimited amount of intelligence in your brain and you are conscious enough not to use it at all, it is going to trouble you, because that is not going to sit idle. That is going to knock your door and displace you everywhere. So how to actually utilize our intellectual ability, that 25%, in a proper direction takes another 25% of your life. The next 25% is our emotional ability. This 50%, that physical and intellectual, is all about matter. Taking care of body is what? Taking care of matter. Properly sleep, properly go to the ophthalmologist, or to check your all different body parts. Brunda was saying, my eyes are not troubling me. Its eye is another matter only. Taking care, go to the doctor, have pizza, and have pizza, pasta, all those things. It's taking care of our body. Properly sleep, wear proper dress, right? All those things, physical things, and all those things, and we derive happiness out of it. But these are all products of matter. We derive happiness from. The next comes our intellectual. Again, intellect. Intelligence is a matter only. And when we utilize it. But next comes, these are all we dealing with matter. That half. Yeah, it is all dealing with matter. Next comes the emotional ability. None of the emotional catering will do. You go into the supermarket and buying different things of you. For example, I have 25,000 rupees and I'm going to buy, all beautiful dresses for me. And I'm going to have 100 slippers for myself. Doesn't matter how much you buy for you, that is not going to cater your emotional quadrant. Why? With the example I gave, why? Why it will not cater your emotional quadrant? Why? It's all matter. Life dealing with matter is never ever going to cater our emotional ability, emotional, requirement, what we have in life. Only when life touches with life, you understand? What is life touches with life? Means relationship. Unless and until we have good relationship in this world, this matter is never ever going to help us. Again, in this relationship, what we do? We discuss only matter things. Oh, कहाँ से लाया ये ड्रेस? बहुत अच्छा है. मुझे भी लेके जाना यार. कितना बड़ा ये ड्रेस को? All those things. One again getting into matter. Unless and until we identify life in relationship, our emotional quadrant always is going to be dry. Again, identifying relationship with another life is not going to complete your human life. There has to be identification of our relationship with the Supreme Lord Krishna. That is why, unless and until we invoke our spiritual quadrant of life, our human life will never ever be successful. So the 50%, yeah, half, what do you call that half of the circle? Not semicircle, semicircle, huh? That semicircle is physical, next semicircle is life. That another life and matter. Yat karoshi yadashnasi yat juhoshi dadasi yat tapashyasi kaunteya tat kuru madarpanam. Krishna says, unless and until you know how to engage the matter in the service of spirit, and ultimately connecting everything to me, we will never ever be able to experience the ultimate goal of our human life. That is where Krishna is hearing from Arjuna the same thing. Arjuna was put into such a precarious situation that Arjuna understood the purpose of this battle is not to win the kingdom but reawaken his relationship with Krishna. You're all with me, understanding this?
If the spiritual quadrant is invoked, like if you're investing in your spiritual quadrant, does that mean that it is going to provide us EQ, IQ, and physical?
So ultimately, if you are investing in, for example, if you have a disease, you might go and take a tablet. But it is not going to heal unless and until you know the root cause of it. So unless and until we invest in the spiritual quadrant, we will never ever be able to have emotional quadrant. We will never ever be able to complete the physical quadrant and also intellectual quadrant. Everything will be frustrating end. You're all with me? Because the whole purpose of our life itself we have not understood. You're all with me? So that's why spiritual life is very, very important, and why India is considered to be the education hub for the entire world. Why? It is not because we founded machine learning or we founded artificial intelligence, that we founded this, we founded that. Absolutely not. This is a hub for the absolute tattva, understanding our goal of human life, which none of the other places in the entire creation can give this knowledge. And being in India, if you again think that ultimately my goal is to reject this spiritual life and then progress in my material life, that is required. I'm not saying no, not at the cost of our spiritual life, not at the cost, because this not equipping ourselves with this spiritual life is going to hit us at any moment of time. Is going to hit us at any moment of time. No one is foolproof in this world. Not even Narendra Modi or not even any person in India. No one is foolproof because everyone are in influence of the roller coaster ride that is being designed in this creation. You understand what I mean? The roller coaster ride, everyone needs to experience it. No one has a foolproof solution to it. So, why this roller coaster ride is designed for me? Unless and until we don't read Bhagavad Gita, we will never ever be able to understand this. You're all with me? So, important. What do we get out of this today's discussion? I'm asking you a question. What do we get out of this today's discussion? It should not happen that I spoke, wonderful, let's have prasad now. What do we get out of today's discussion? Abhishek? Huh? Yeah, we should surrender. Very, very important. Identify Arjuna was also not foolproof. Although he had all attributes ticked, everything is going to happen according to me. But Arjuna too succumbed. Who are we? Hence, Bhagavad Gita, when it's relevant for Arjuna, is it not relevant for That's very, very important for us to realize. Yeah. Thank you. So it is very important for us to take this understanding and read, at least spend 1 or 2 hours reading Bhagavad Gita, contemplate on it. It should not happen only you listen, nothing happens in contemplating. Please spend some time reading Bhagavad Gita every day along with your chanting. Yeah. So, yeah.
Actually,
Prabhuji, Suresh Prabhu, can you switch on that water one? Yeah. It will take around 10 minutes to heat.
actually,
Yeah.
I've been seeing.
Okay.
Actually, I've been seeing that in these four quadrants, you spoke about physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual. But in my general observation and also with my own experience around, I see that people who are more focused on physical quadrant, like say they are too much into health, yoga, or some of the other health conscious people. For them, that quadrant becomes dominant. And for a person who is intellectually inclined, for him, it's more like, I need to explore, I need to see. For them also, focusing on spiritual quadrant becomes a challenge because they are more focused there. And even for emotional person, for them also, though they are invested in spiritual, all these three people, though they are invested in spiritual quadrant, but that main aspect, I got disturbed with some devotee, or I got disturbed with some of the things that is happening. So then that becomes more prominent, and we sort of pull ourselves away from the spiritual quadrant. How, in spite
Yeah.
of being, and this scenario I'm speaking about devotees who are focusing on spiritual quadrant, who are practicing, who are doing, yet their basic nature sort of pulls them away from that. Emotional person, emotional disturbance pulls them away from spiritual quadrant. Health conscious person, little bit of health disturbance pulls them away from spiritual quadrant. Intellectual people disturbed with some philosophy that we read, or they have come up with some other exploring things, that also pulls them away from spiritual quadrant. How to make sure that in spite of our basic traits pulling us away, we focus there and we stay there.
Yeah. So what she's saying is, she's saying with respect to a devotee, if, for example, she herself is practicing, if there's any disturbance in all the three quadrants, it normally going to hit us, and we try to pull away. Why is it happening? Is that all?
No, I mean, why is it happening? My question is how to stay there and in that
Yeah.
spiritual quadrant.
Yeah. So how to actually remind the spiritual quadrant, doesn't mean that you are not taking care of your health. You are not taking care of your physical quotient, intellectual quotient, and emotional quotient. For example, you need to build relationship. As I keep on telling, have eye to eye, contact. Why? It is very much important to have an eye to eye contact whenever we are speaking to someone. That doesn't mean that it is a spiritual. I'm not saying, having eye to eye contact with Akash Prabhu is, it's a requirement of a spiritual life. But for any emotional requirement, we need to understand that we need to be with everyone. If we need to be with everyone, we need to be like ordinary people as well. You understand what I mean? If, for example, I'm like here, if I come out, I don't want to be in this hat of, you understand what I mean? That, I'm speaking Bhagavad Gita. Whenever I'm dealing with any one of you outside, I'm like a normal person. You accept it or not? Why? There is an emotional requirement everyone needs to have in life, including me. I'm also an ordinary human being, very much required. So we need to take care of our emotional quotient. Otherwise, thinking philosophy means that we are all devotees of Krishna and everyone needs to surrender. If you don't surrender, I will not have a relationship with you, is going to hurt us. Unless we need to develop this art of, having relationship, connection with everyone. Very, very important. Why is that we keep on, seeing the exit door of our spiritual quadrant every time when physical, emotional, and intellectual troubles us, is because we do not have that kind of commitment. Root cause of everything is we do not read Bhagavad Gita, we do not understand the philosophy properly, we do not apply the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita in our own life. We might be devotees coming for 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years. But unless and until you invest time in hearing Bhagavad Gita, reading Bhagavad Gita, things is not going to help. Arjuna spent his entire life with Krishna and he had troubles. We are all spending 1-2 hours and we think all the problems should get solved. All problems should get solved. I should not have any problems. You understand what I mean? It's not going to happen unless and until we systematically take up our spiritual life. That doesn't mean difficulties are going to run away. It has not happened to me. I haven't seen any devotees where anyone can say that I have no troubles because I'm chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra daily. No, everyone are going to go. For example, every day you get up, we take bath, we go to the toilet. Do you ever complain that I need to go to toilet every day? This is so boring, yaar. So boring. Every day. At least some days it's okay. Every day I have to go. It's a boring activity. Who will do this? You understand what I mean? Why is that? You will actually ensure that you pass through that without questioning. Why is that? Why is that you do without questioning? Because it's a sensual urge. That urge will not leave you. That urge will make sure that you will complete it. But when it comes to Krishna consciousness, there is no urge from the soul at all that you need to complete your rounds. One day you're done, every day I have to chant, every day come, same Saturday coming and hearing Bhagavad Gita and eating. Same thing again and again. Same, what should I do? It's so boring. Because that urge from the soul is not there. We are all sensual urge we are trying to satisfy. Fantastic, going fine. We don't complain. I have to shave every day. It's so boring. Shaving every day. You understand what I mean? Some of the domestic things we have taken it, accepted it as a reality in life. But when it comes to spiritual life, we think that why every day? थोड़ा थोड़ा करना यार, वीकेंड में थोड़ा डिफरेंस रहेगा आपका जीवन में. अगर एक माला कर दोगे संडे में, थोड़ा डिफरेंस रहेगा. और सम चेंज इज देयर. एवरी डे जपा करो, 16 माला करो, 16. ये तो क्या, इट्स बिकम सो मोनोटोनस यार. 16 माला मंडे ट्यूसडे. वो भी वेंकटेश प्रभु इतना अटेंडेंस इतना पागल कर देते हैं. क्या ये सब मोनोटोनस हो गया यार जीवन में? स्पिरिचुअलिटी तो चेंज होना है. चेंज मीन्स 16 माला करो यार, करो. ये संडे में करो यार, संडे में करो थोड़ा, और मंथली वंस करो, चेंज रहेगा. मंथली वंस करोगे तो चेंज रहेगा. तो आपका जो भी है प्रॉब्लम्स था, थोड़ा आपको मिल जाएगा स्ट्रेस फ्री लाइफ. डेली क्या जरूरत है? क्योंकि ये हो रहा है क्योंकि वो अर्ज नहीं है. Anyone tells, why I will go once in a month to the toilet? Anyone will tell you? No, never is going to happen. Why? We have accepted that reality. If we don't do that, I will be in trouble. We have accepted that. But do we accept the same thing when it comes to practicing our spiritual life? Absolutely not, because that urge is not there yet. When that urge comes, I will tell you, I don't need to follow up with any one of you. you will also not become crying babies. प्रभु जी नहीं होगा, प्रभु जी नहीं, ये नहीं है, ये ऐसा है, चलेगा नहीं. We will never become crying babies like this. We are crying babies today. Why? That urge, we are not experiencing it. Absolutely, we are not experiencing. That means that until unless we experience that urge only by practicing it, thinking that I am accountable. No one tells me you do program in Vrindavan. Go into the entire, our institution, ISKCON institution, never has told me do programs in Vrindavan. No one has told. But accountability has to be there. I have an accountability. That has to come within our life. When that comes, then things, everything will fall in right places. No matter what happens, we will continue to do it. Just like you doing your own domestic things. Yeah? It's okay? Hare Krishna. Roji, you will do Kirtan. Hare Krishna, I need to go.